has to be introduced. Right? One of the most important thing is that what? So where the data has to be stored. So those who are the business leaders, okay, so that they don't have to access to data they need, right? So 83% of means cited BI means so they're having the research oriented data is there, PowerPoint oriented data is there. So basically they're having the huge amount of data, and one so means every day large number of data is also generated, okay, and after generating that data there is they're having the problem is that where that data has to be stored, okay. So 40% of the companies use the analytics for the competitive advantages, okay. So that's why there is need to store that data is somewhere, right? Because analysis purpose we need a data, we need a historical data, okay. So that's why there is need to store that data, okay. So why big data? So basically the first thing is that they're having the huge amount of data, more accurate analysis is also very important. So otherwise you can't retrieve the meaningful information from that data. More confidence in the decision making after analysis, okay. For example, let's take one example at here. Suppose in the Mahindra company, they did the analysis, for example, in the last 3 years, okay. In the last 3 years, what is the market of your tractor, okay, in overall India, okay. So in the last 3 years, so that's why you need a 3 years data, right? So that data has to be stored into the big data. We are going to perform some analysis on that data, okay. After performing that analysis, we are going to get a meaningful information, right? After getting that information, suppose what information we are going to retrieve. For example, in the Assam, okay, Assam is also one of the state. In Assam, they're having the less sold, they're having the less publicity of your tractor, and they're having the less sold of your tractor on that particular state, okay. So after analysis of 3 years of data, okay. So what meaningful information is extracted? काय लक्षात आलं की आसाम ह्या स्टेट मध्ये काय आहे, कमी आहे, okay. So this analysis, this results has to be got from after performing the analysis of 3 years of data, okay. So after getting that information, those who are the CEO, those who are the manager of that Mahindra company, so that person takes some decision, right? That person takes some decision. What type of decision, right? So for example, in the Assam states, they're having the less sold of your tractor. So they can think on that, how we are going to increase the sold on that particular state, right? So that manager has to be take some decision. You can do the more advertisement, okay. You can reach to the farmer, okay. You can after reaching that farmer, you can what are the benefits of that tractor and all that things. You can convince to the farmer, you can buy that particular tractor, right? So means when it is possible, you can store the historical data up to 10 years, up to 20 years, okay. And then you are do the analysis on that data, and after analysis you can got some meaningful information, and after getting that information you can take some decision, right? So why this decision is very important? This decision is helpful for your organization, okay. So it is greater operational efficiency, so this will be helpful for cost reduction, time reduction, new product development. So these are the benefits of that. What you are going to store that data, you are to analysis on that data, and after analysis you can take some decision on that data. So nowadays terabytes of data, millions of records are there. So that's why there is need of big data, right? So they have created new basically they're having the different types of characteristics are there. We are going to see one by one. 1 minute. Now moving to the next part. Yeah. So what are the characteristics, what are the challenges, and what are the big data stack? Okay. So let's move. The big data already we have seen they're having the more amount of data. Okay. So they're having the different sources of that data. Nowadays, terabytes of data, billions of records are there. So these data, we are going to perform some analysis on that data, and after analysis, we can take some decision, right? So that's why there is need of big data. Okay. So now moving to the next part, what are the characteristics of that big data? Okay. So basically, they're having 5V. We can remember in the characteristic 5V. 5V means what? First V is volume, velocity, veracity, then value, and the veracity. Okay, so these are the some of the characteristics of that big data. Okay, so we are going to see first that is volume. You know that in the big data having the huge amount of data, right? Nowadays they're having the terabytes of data, billions of records are there. So this is nothing but the huge amount of data. Okay, so volume means to share the volume of data being stored in the today in the year 2000. So they're having the 8 lakh of petabytes of data were stored in the world. Okay, but we have seen that in last 2 years about 80% of data has to be created in the last 2 years. So of course a lot of data that being created today, it's analyzed at all, and that's another problem that need to be stored, where it is stored. Another problem is what? Where it is stored, right? So number is expected to reach the 35 zettabytes in 2020. See, in 2000, year 2000, they're having 8 lakhs of petabytes of data stored in the whole world. Okay, how much? 8 lakhs petabytes of data has to be stored in the whole world. But in 2020, it is expected to reach that 35 zettabytes of data is stored, because Twitter along with generated more than 7 terabytes of data in every day. See, you are using that Twitter, Facebook, social medias are there. So only one Twitter can generate 7 terabytes of data in every day. Similarly, for Facebook, you know that millions of videos, then images, text messages are uploaded in a Facebook. Only one Facebook social media generate 10 terabytes of data in every day. See, how much? 10 terabytes of data in every day. So it's no longer unheard for of the individual enterprise to have to store that cluster holding in the petabytes of that data. Okay, so basically they are having the different sources of data. That data, you here I am going to say that they're having the volume of data is there. Only one Twitter can generate, right, 7 terabyte of data in every day. You know, you all are familiar with the Facebook. Only one Facebook can generate, right, how much? 10 terabytes of data in every day. Means nowadays they're having the huge amount. Huge means volume. Okay, large volume of data is there. Okay, so now moving to the next characteristic, that is velocity. Okay, velocity. So real-time stream processing. Velocity means what? Sorry, velocity means what? Real-time, how much data has to be executed. So, okay, so velocity means what? Just as a sheer volume of variety of data we collected and stored has changed. Suppose velocity which generate and needs to be handled. Okay, means processing of that data. Okay, to accumulate the velocity, a new way of the thinking about the problem must start. For example, we suggest to have apply this definition. Okay, so velocity of data means what? The people means, for example, dealing efficiently with the big data, we require that to perform the analytics against the volume and the variety of that data. Okay, so basically this is nothing but what? Velocity. Okay, velocity means what? In one word, I am going to say that the real-time stream processing. Okay, how much data has to be processed in within given time, right? So that is nothing but the velocity. Then variety. So already we have seen in the chapter number first, they're having the variety of datas are there. Okay, variety of digital datas are there. So basically they're having three types of datas. Digital data is there: structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. So this is a variety of data. Basically they're having three types of datas are variety of datas are there, which are structured, unstructured, and what? Semi-structured data, right? Then value. Okay, so every data having some value, right? So means suppose some of the data is in the image form, some of the data is in the textual form, some of the data in the spreadsheet form, some of the data is in a video form. Okay, so every data having some value, right? So we are going to store that data into the big data. Then veracity means what? How you can retrieve that data. Okay, you can how you can retrieve the matching patterns from that big data, right? So that's why you know that if the data is in unstructured form, so we are going to apply some data mining algorithms on that for the what? Extracting the matching patterns from that huge amount of data. Okay, so basically these are the characteristics of that big data. Okay, now moving to the next part, that is what are the challenges of big data. Okay, so what are the challenges of big data? Okay, so what are the challenges? First challenge is what? Collection. Okay, what are the sources of that big data, right? What are the sources of that big data? So means already we have seen that where we are going to collect the structured data, where we are going to collect the semi-structured data. Okay, and what are the sources of the what? Unstructured data, right? So by using these are the sources of what? Big data. And this is the first part, this is the first challenge, what? Collection. Then moving to the next part, that is storage. Okay, so one of the most important challenge is what? Where it is stored. Okay, big data challenges include the best way of handling the numerous of amount of data. You know, you have to see one characteristic, that is what? Large volume of data, right? So what are the challenges of that large volume of data? Big data challenges include the best way to how to handle that data, right? So basically there is need professional persons are there, right? Then we need a proper understanding of that data, right? Then confusion while big data tool selection, right? So first thing is that where we are going to collect that data. Okay, so after collecting that data, where we are going to store it, right? Storage. Okay, then we are going to perform some analysis on that data. Okay, so by using data mining, natural language processing, okay, artificial neural network, by using that we are going to do the analysis on that data, right? Then visualization. Okay, how it can be look like, visualization of that data. Then we are going to apply some cloud technology. Then there is need of network also, right? So these are the some of the challenges. These are the some of the challenges of big data analysis. Okay, what are the challenges? First challenge is that what? Collection. Okay, where we are going to collect that data. Okay, after collection, where it is stored. Okay, so because they are having the large volume of data, so that's why there is need of where we are going to store that data. So we require some storage. Okay, okay. Once we are going to store that data, the next part is that how we are going to analyze that data, right? After analysis, we are going to extract the meaningful information, right? The next part is that analysis. That is nothing but what? Research. Then exhibits volume. Okay, then how we can visualize that data. Okay, and the next thing is that cloud technology. Okay, so by using the data can be storing on the cloud, how we can access, so that's why there is need of some network and all that thing. So these are the some of the challenges of big data analysis. Okay, sharing and accessing of data. Okay, so the challenges in the big data are the real implementation of the hurdles, you know that. So these requires immediate attention and need to be handled, right? Because if not handled, then the failure of the technology may take place. Okay, if you have to properly handle, yeah, then we are going to get the benefits of that big data. Okay, so after collecting that data, we are going to take the immediate action on that, where it can be stored, how we are going to analyze that data. Okay, then how we are going to extract the meaningful information, and according to that, what the decisions can be made in an organization. Another thing is that security, privacy is also very important, right? So means sharing and accessing data. Those who are the authorized person, that person can only access that data, because they are having the very means what we have to say, important data of your organization, right? So sharing and accessing, how, who can access, who can share that data. Okay, so which are the data is public, which are the data is private. Okay, so according to the authorization, you can give the access to the user. Okay, then privacy and security is also one of the most important challenge in big data. Okay, so this challenge include, suppose in your big data having some sensitive information regarding your organization, because most of the organization are unable to maintain the regular checks. Okay, due to the large amount of data generation. So however, it should be necessary to perform a security checks and the real time observation in the real time, because it is most beneficial, right? So there is some information of the person, which when combined with the external large data. So suppose for example, in your organization, some of the data is very sensitive, right? So no one can be accessed, no one having the authority to access that data, right? So at that time, there is need to provide the privacy and security for that data. Then another most important challenge is analysis, right? So because they're having the huge amount of data, and they're having the different types of data is there, means some of the data is structured, some of the data is unstructured, some of the data is semi-structured. So in that case, it is difficult to analyze that data, right? Or in that, how we are going to find the important data. Okay, these large amount of data on which this because it is a combination of all semi, unstructured, structured. So they're having two techniques through by using that we are going to analyze that data, right? So basically, technical challenges, quality of that data, fault tolerance are there, scalability is also there. So basically, these are the some of the challenges of the big data, right? So we are going to deal with that challenges, right? And we are going to extract the meaningful information. Okay, so these are the confusion of variety of the big data technologies are there. We know that technology, there is required some knowledgeable person to handle that big data, that we require some knowledgeable person to analyze that data, and after analysis we are going to extract the meaningful information, and according to that information, the decision decision making process is happen in an organization. Okay, so big data applications, reporting and visualization, analytical data warehouse, that things we will see in the next lecture. Okay, in the today's lecture the most important points are what is meant by big data, right? Why that big data concept is introduced. Okay, because nowadays they're having the huge amount of data, right? So they're having the problem. We have seen that 90% of the world data was created in the last 2 years, right? So that's why there is a one of the challenge that where that data has to be stored. And why this historical data is important, because the analysis of this required for the analysis purpose, this required for the decision making purpose. So that's why there is need to store that data, right? Then we have seen that nowadays in every company can be use some analytics for the means retain their position in the market, right? So that's why there is need to store that huge amount of data. So why that big data concept is introduced? Because nowadays they're having the huge amount of data. We require some more accurate analysis on that data, right? After analysis, we are going to confidently take the decision making things, right? So this will be helpful for the operational efficiency, cost reduction, time reduction, and new product development. So that's why there is need of big data. So I think you all has to be clear the concept of what is meant by big data, right? Then these are the sources of big data, right? So already I have given one example at here. Your Twitter, one of the social media account, Twitter, that Twitter can generate 7 terabytes of data in every day. Facebook is also generated 10 terabytes of data in every day, right? So that's why, right? So that's why there is need where it is stored, right? So that large this volume of data, where it is variety of data, volume of data, right? So where it is stored, so that's why there is need of big data. Okay, okay guys. So I think today we are going to stop at here. In the tomorrow session, we will see in the next part. Okay. Okay. You all can put your attendance in the comment box. Yes. You all can put your attendance in comment box. Okay. Please, everyone should put your attendance in comment box. Yeah, if anyone is remaining. A54, A28, A15, A24, B39, A67, 25, A01, 38, 48, 52. From B division, If anyone is remaining, yeah, B26. Okay. Yes, Jaydeep Zadav, Gayatri, Snehal Pujari, Aditya, Prathamesh, B39. Yeah. Renuka Kadam. Yes.
Ma'am, A32.
A32. Okay, fine.
No, ma'am, A64.
B64.
A64, ma'am. A.
Okay, you are put it into the comment box. A64. Yeah, Vivek. Okay, fine.
Ma'am, B07.
B07.
Ma'am,
B.
B3.
Yeah. In chat, I got it. Okay, B07, B8, B03. Okay, B8. Okay, fine.
Ma'am, B35.
B30.
5.
Yeah. Aditya, no?
Yes, yes.
B14, ma'am.
B14.
1-4.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, guys, today we will stop at here. Tomorrow we will see the next content in this chapter. Okay. Today we are going to only see that what is the introduction of that big data, what are the characteristics, and what are the challenges of that big data. Okay, fine. Thank you. Have a good day.